France is a captivating nation in Western Europe, sharing its borders with Belgium, Luxembourg, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, and Germany. Its varied coastlines touching the Atlantic, Mediterranean, and English Channel, along with the North Sea, paint a diverse geographical picture. This rich landscape, from flat plains to majestic Alps, lays the groundwork for France's renowned culinary scene. While France may not be known for inventing specific kitchen gadgets, its profound impact on global culinary techniques is undeniable. Terms like sautéing, flambeing, braising, and/or poaching all originated here. This blend of geographical abundance and technical prowess creates a cuisine that truly celebrates fresh, high-quality ingredients and flavors that are both simple yet perfectly balanced. At the heart of French cuisine, you'll find an emphasis on fresh bread, exquisite cheeses, fine wines, rich dairy products, olive oil, succulent meats, and fresh fish. Iconic flavors such as herbe de Provence, olive oil, and Dijon mustard underscore a culinary philosophy that prioritizes meticulous cooking methods and the inherent freshness of ingredients over heavy seasoning. This dedication to using seasonal, locally sourced ingredients is deeply woven into French culture. Whether it's seafood from the coastal regions or dairy and grains from agricultural areas, the food reflects its origins. Sharing a meal is a cherished social norm, which can be observed by the simple act of tearing a fresh baguette by hand at the table. The Eclair is a quintessential French pastry, beautifully embodying these deeply ingrained culinary principles. Its delicate choux pastry is a testament to the precise techniques perfected by French bakers. The smooth, rich filling and glazes found in Eclairs highlight the importance of high-quality dairy and fresh ingredients, directly connected to France's rich agricultural heritage. And in the case of chocolate ganache, we see a subtle nod to historical trade and colonial roots that brought ingredients like cocoa to the European palate. Today, I'm thrilled to demonstrate how to create this pastry using a piping bag, an invention perfected by the French themselves for achieving confectionery mastery. The equipment you may need for this recipe includes a saucepan, a large bowl, measuring cups and spoons, a baking sheet, parchment paper, piping bags and tip, wooden spoon, rubber spatula, traditional whisk, and an electric mixer. The ingredients required for this recipe includes 2 cups of whole milk, 2 cups of sugar, roughly 7 to 10 eggs, 8 tablespoons of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of water, and 2.5 cups of whipping cream, as well as 2.5 cups of milk chocolate chips. Before we begin cooking, it's important to respect HAH. We have to make sure that we take care of our hair, put on an apron, and wash our hands and make sure they're clean. For the first part of the custard, we're going to add 2 cups of whole milk onto medium heat, and we're going to constantly stir to make sure it doesn't burn. After 2 to 3 minutes, it should start to boil, and this is when you want to directly remove it from the heat. While the milk is coming to a boil, I'm just going to quickly separate 6 eggs from the yolks and the whites. We're not going to use whites for this recipe, and instead we're just going to use the yolks. With the whites, however, you can use it for the egg wash later, so save it just in case. For an egg wash, it's important to have some egg yolk in it so it can introduce some browning in the oven. In this case, it kind of worked itself out because I accidentally punctured a yolk into the whites. Now that you have your 6 eggs, it's time to introduce 2/3 cup of sugar to the mixture and whisk until light, airy, and creamy. It should turn a lighter yellow, just like this. Now, after getting this consistency, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of cornstarch into the mixture, and we're gonna vigorously whisk. The reason why we're adding the cornstarch is that after we put this on heat, it's gonna turn a lot more thick, and it's gonna have more of a custard consistency and resemble kind of like a pudding. This mixture by itself tastes pretty good, but remember, as raw egg yolks, just know that if you want to taste it, there's a risk of foodborne illnesses, salmonella in this case. Now, with the hot scalding milk we made, we're going to add small amounts gradually to the egg mixture and bringing the temperature up gradually. We're applying a technique called tempering, which is the most important aspect of the custard. If we add all the hot milk together, we risk making a weird scrambled egg mixture. This custard recipe probably seems familiar to some of you, probably because of how this is the same component in a lot of your favorite desserts, such as banana pudding, Boston cream donuts, bonnets, and some ice cream bases. Once all the milk is incorporated into the egg, strain the liquid back into the saucepan. I put the saucepan back on medium heat and stirred vigorously. This is a dairy-heavy mixture, making it susceptible to burning. It'll start off thin like this and gradually reduce and thicken. This is the most tedious part of the cooking process. I was here for about 20 minutes of constant stirring. At some point after 10 minutes, I added a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You don't want to put it too early or you might lose some of the flavors. You know you're done when you can easily scrape the custard off the bottom of the pan like this. Transfer the mixture to a bowl and secure tightly with plastic wrap. I instead have a dedicated bowl with a nice fitting lid. Refrigerate this for as long as you can. Unfortunately, it's not over yet. To finish up the pastry cream, I'm going to whip up a cup of whipping cream with a 1/4 cup of sugar until soft peaks. Make sure that everything liquid you measure is from a glass measuring mug, which gives better measurements of liquids. It's been about 2 hours and I'm going to take out the custard from the fridge. It might look a little gloopy, but having it hold its shape like this is a great sign. I may have forgot to record this part, but I whipped the cream with the custard and got this as the final pastry cream. It should be nice and creamy just like this. Now we can finally work on the bread portion of the pastry by developing our own choux. To begin making this dough, we have to add about 8 tablespoons or 118 grams of salted butter, 1 cup of water, and a tablespoon of sugar into a saucepan on medium heat. Similar to what we did to the milk when making the pastry cream, we are going to bring the mixture to a boil and then immediately take off the heat. Once you take it off the heat, add 1 cup of all-purpose flour and mix. It should start coming together but look a little off. For an entire minute, focus on kneading the dough by folding it like I'm doing over here. Put it back on the heat and stir for a minute, repeating the same motion. It might seem unnecessary, but don't skip this step. It's necessary to create a more cohesive dough. Transfer the dough to another bowl. With an electric mixer, whisk the dough a little bit. It'll appear grainy like this, and at this stage, you need to incorporate about 4 eggs. Any less, and the dough won't puff up and allow for filling, and any more will make the dough unable to hold its shape. Add the eggs gradually and assess the moisture. Here I have 2 eggs in and it's still grainy, but at least now it's getting to a more desirable color. Now I'm adding my 3rd and 4th egg. The choux has really come together. You can see here on the mixer that the dough is clinging onto the beaters. The dough is extremely sticky and annoying to handle, perfect for what we want. Now we're going to add this choux to a piping bag, which is draped over a tall glass for easy access. Speaking on piping bags, both Eclairs and piping bags are widely attributed to the renowned chef, Chef Marie-Antoine Carême. Carême is largely credited with creating the modern Eclair in the 19th century. He adapted an earlier choux pastry dessert called the pain à la duchesse. Carême is also credited with inventing the pastry or piping bag around 1820, revolutionizing pastry decoration and allowing for greater precision and artistry. Now coming back to the recipe, line a baking sheet with parchment paper, and with the choux pastry, I'm just going to pipe it into long strips. The ones I'm showing here are the first and worst ones. I promise you the other batches looked better. Learn from my mistakes here. The parchment is slipping and sliding. You guys should take a little dollop of dough and use it as glue, which I did for the other batches. Bake your choux at 425 Celsius for 15 minutes. Flip the pan and then cook for another 25 minutes at 375. While the pastry is in the oven baking, we might as well get ahead on our dishes and ensure a clean work environment. Once the choux is finally cooked, the final product should look something like this. The center should be hollow, just like in this example provided here. The final component of the eclair is making a chocolate ganache. A ganache is essentially melted chocolate of sorts. It is said that it is the pioneer of the chocolate desserts, which France takes credit for. Here I warmed up about half a cup of cream in the microwave for a minute, and then added 2 to 3 times the chocolate en masse. After a few minutes of mixing, it should turn thicker into a consistency just like this. Now that we have the pastry cream, the pastry itself, and the chocolate ganache, now we can finally assemble the components together. Using another piping bag filled with the pastry cream, I punctured holes and filled the pastry. I can easily feel the way of the eclair crease. Another easy way to fill the dessert is to take a knife and cut a small pocket in the side where you can fill the pastry cream. Majority of the pastries that I served today follows that design just for simplicity. And because this plastic piping bag tip is kind of weak and hard to use. Finally, the last step to officially make chocolate eclairs is to dip the pastry into the chocolate ganache and set it in the freezer to cool and firm up. Make sure to cover the eclairs with plastic wrap as it sits in the fridge. That'll stop it from absorbing some of the fridge flavors and sit on its own. Desserts like these generally taste better overnight, so enjoy when you lose patience. Thank you for listening. I hope you all learned something.